You know what nobody talks about? The silent ones. The people who just vanish from family gatherings. Stop answering calls. Delete the group chat. Gone. And everyone else? They whisper. They judge. They say things like, "How could they?" Or, "Family is everything." But here's what they don't ask. What did that family do to make someone choose silence over blood? Because cutting off your own family, that's not a decision people make lightly. That's not rebellion. That's not immaturity. That's survival. And today, we're going to look at the psychology behind it, the real reasons, the ones nobody wants to admit exist. Because some families, they're not sanctuaries, they're battlegrounds. Let's start with something uncomfortable. We're taught from birth that family is sacred, unbreakable, that no matter what happens, you forgive, you endure, you stay loyal. But that belief, it protects abusers more than it protects victims. Because when you tell someone they must maintain a relationship just because of shared DNA, you're telling them their pain doesn't matter, their boundaries don't matter, their mental health doesn't matter. And that's exactly what some families count on. You see, the people who cut off their families aren't doing it out of spite. They're not selfish. They're not ungrateful. They're exhausted. They've spent years, sometimes decades, trying to make it work, trying to be understood, trying to set boundaries that get trampled, trying to explain why certain words hurt, why certain behaviors are unacceptable, why they need space, and being told they're too sensitive, too dramatic, too much. So they stop trying. And when they finally walk away, people act shocked. It came out of nowhere, they say. No, it didn't. It came after 1,000 small betrayals, 1,000 dismissals, 1,000 moments where they realized, this person doesn't see me. They see a role, a function, a punching bag, a scapegoat, a servant, not a human being. Let me tell you what that does to someone psychologically. When you grow up in a family that doesn't respect your autonomy, your mind learns to prioritize other people's comfort over your own safety. You become hypervigilant. You learn to read moods, predict reactions, manage emotions that aren't even yours. It's called emotional labor, and it's exhausting. You become the mediator, the caretaker, the one who absorbs everyone else's dysfunction so the family can pretend everything's fine. And the cost? Your sense of self. Because when you spend your entire childhood being told your feelings are wrong, your perceptions are invalid, your needs are inconvenient, you start to believe it. You start to think you're the problem. But here's the thing. At some point, usually in adulthood, something shifts. Therapy, a good relationship, distance, time. Something gives you perspective, and you realize, I wasn't the problem. I was the solution they didn't want, because fixing the family would have required them to change, to admit fault, to stop using you as their emotional crutch, and they weren't willing to do that. So you leave, not out of hatred, out of self-preservation. Now, society doesn't make this easy. There's this narrative that if you cut off your family, you're cold, you're damaged, you're the villain in someone else's story. But the people who make that judgment, they've never had to choose between their sanity and their bloodline. They've never had to sit at a dinner table and smile while someone casually destroys their self-worth. They've never had to explain over and over why a comment was hurtful, only to be told they're overreacting. They don't know what it's like to love people who can't or won't love you back in a way that's safe. And here's the darker truth. Some families don't want healing. They want control. They want you to stay small, Stay compliant. Stay in your assigned role, because your growth threatens their system. If you start setting boundaries, asking questions, refusing to play along, the whole structure falls apart, and they can't allow that. So they guilt you. They manipulate you. They tell you you're abandoning them, that you're selfish, that you'll regret this. But you won't, because the people who cut off their families, they don't do it impulsively. They grieve first. They grieve the family they wish they had, the parents they deserved, the siblings who could have been allies instead of competitors or strangers. They grieve the version of themselves that kept hoping things would change. And then quietly, they let go. Now let's talk about the patterns, the warning signs, the things people recognize only after they've already walked away. Because if you're still in it, you might not see it yet. First, the conditional love. Love in a toxic family isn't given freely. It's earned. It's transactional. You're loved when you're useful, when you agree, when you perform the role they've assigned you. But the moment you step out of line, the moment you have your own opinions, your own life, your own boundaries, that love evaporates, and you're left wondering, was it ever really love at all? Second, the rewriting of history. Toxic families are masters at this. You'll bring up something that hurt you, something that happened, something you know was real, and they'll tell you it didn't happen, or it wasn't that bad, or you're remembering it wrong. It's called gaslighting, and it makes you doubt your own mind. Over time, you stop trusting yourself. You stop speaking up, because what's the point? They'll just rewrite it anyway. Third, the double standards. Some family members can do no wrong. Others can do no right. If you're the scapegoat, everything you do is criticized. Every mistake is proof that you're flawed. But the golden child? They're perfect, even when they're not. And you're supposed to accept that, to compete for scraps of approval that will never come. Fourth, the punishment for boundaries. When you try to set a boundary, don't speak to me that way. I need space. That's not okay. They don't respect it. They escalate. They guilt you, punish you with silence, rally other family members against you, make you the villain for daring to ask for basic respect. And that's when you realize they don't want a relationship with you. They want a relationship with the version of you that doesn't resist. Fifth, the lack of accountability. In a healthy family, people apologize. They acknowledge harm. They try to do better. In a toxic family, apologies are rare. And when they do come, they're not real. I'm sorry you felt that way. I'm sorry you're so sensitive. I'm sorry, but you have to understand. Those aren't apologies. Those are deflections. And after a while, you stop asking for them, because you know they'll never come. Now here's what people don't understand. Cutting off your family doesn't mean you don't love them. It means you love yourself more. And that's not selfish. That's growth. Because the hardest thing in the world isn't walking away from people who hurt you. It's walking away from people you wish could love you the way you need. But wishing doesn't change reality. And staying doesn't make them better. It just makes you smaller. So the people who leave, they're not weak. They're strong enough to choose themselves. They're brave enough to face the judgment, the guilt, the loneliness. Because they know that loneliness is better than being surrounded by people who make you feel alone. And here's the final truth. The family you're born into, that's chance. But the family you choose, the people who see you, respect you, celebrate you, that's intention. And sometimes you have to let go of the first to make room for the second. So if you've cut off your family, or you're thinking about it, know this: your peace matters. Your mental health matters. Your boundaries matter. And you don't owe anyone access to you just because you share blood. Some doors are meant to close, not out of bitterness, but out of wisdom. Because the people who truly love you, they don't make you choose between them and your well-being. They don't punish you for growing. They don't gaslight you for remembering. And if your family can't do that, then they're not your sanctuary. They're your history, and history can stay in the past. If this resonated with you, leave a comment. Share your story if you're comfortable. You're not alone in this. And if you want more uncomfortable truths like this, subscribe to Mind Enigma, because we don't talk about what's easy here. We talk about what's real. See you in the next one. Next.